What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute since I caught you guys up with my life. So let's get started from last month. It's been that long, my bad. Sorry, y'all. It's been kind of crazy. So last month I went to New York for the first time in 3 years. Oh man. I never thought I would be away from New York for so long, but life happens, and sometimes you just gotta roll with it, roll with the punches, and go with the flow. So I went last month to catch up on a lot of paperwork that I had to do. You know, with COVID, everything was just slowed down. And so I had to catch up with a lot of paperwork. But one of the things that impacted me the most during this trip was I got booked to speak at a high school, and it was a Latin American and Caribbean Studies history class. So I got booked to speak over there, and it was so impactful because it was the first time I ever spoke to a group of students about the Garifuna story. You know, you guys know well, if you don't know, I don't know if you know, I am the director of the Garifuna Cultural Center in Roatan, and ever since moving from New York to Roatan, I've been real consistent with finding out who I am as a Garifuna person. I am a cultural ambassador. So to be recognized as a speaker or someone who can give information about my beautiful and unique heritage, it was a real full circle moment for me. Being Garifuna is such a big part of my identity, is a big part of my mission in living here on the island. And what was so cool about this experience is three of the students were Garifuna, and one of them actually spoke to me in Garifuna, and I was so shocked and excited that he wasn't the only one. All three of them speak Garifuna, so it was really so exciting to speak my language with these young people in New York. And they were so hyped. The teacher told me that they're going to ESL class, and they're usually not as excited because of the language barrier. But that day, the teacher saw that the students were more interactive and more alert in class because they were hearing about their culture. So it meant so much to me.
So for me, it was really important to infuse my students' cultural experiences and cultural identities in my classroom, because that's how we learn, right? Mm-hmm. Our first experiences with learning is through our culture at home, through our foods, through our language, through our customs, our traditions, our holidays, and it's who we are. And so I really feel that it's important for, especially as a Black woman who, you know, culture is a big thing in like African American. I've had students tell me like, Miss, I don't have any culture. You know, I'm Black. What am I supposed to put on here? And I'm like, well, sometimes, like the first time that happened to me, I didn't know what to say. I was really, really taken aback, and I was like, well, you do have a culture, you have a strong culture, you come, and she's like, well, what is it? And so people really don't understand how important culture is. And so when I started to teach her, at this time I was teaching 7th grade, when I started to teach her about, you know, African culture and her lineage and African American culture, she turned into a whole different student, right? She turned into a whole different student, and she wanted to learn more, but it also helped her in her academic classes. Everybody around here knows that, you know, with me, culture is everything. It's your way of life. It's how you see the world. You see the world through your culture. And, you know, if you don't know it, or if it's, you know, if you're from the African diaspora, like, you know, I am, we have issues with culture and identifying, you know, with our culture. And it mainly comes from, you know, mainstream society. So I feel that a lot of things, even with me, about my culture, I had to unlearn some things. Like, no, that's not You know, those things were imposed on me. But as you continue to dig deeper and deeper, you'll find, especially like you and I, right? Like you and I, it was a search for a Garifuna culture and Garifuna lessons for my students that led me to you. And so, but we also find that we have lots of commonalities with different cultures. Like it's all connected. I have one student, he's Garifuna. He's like, Miss, I really don't know much about it. You know, the last time I was, you know, in Honduras, his family's from Honduras. He was like, I was a baby. I don't remember anything, you know, about that. So it's my hope that even having you here today, he can find some type of, you know, connection with his culture. I know that's important to you, to you as well. So, you know, culture is everything.
I'm at the stage where I'm figuring out how much do I expose my children to New York life, and how much do I expose them to Roatan life, and what are the pros and cons of both. And so I came to the realization that I really am going to give my children the best of both worlds. I don't plan to just keep them on the island, and I don't plan to just keep them in New York. I took my daughter to the museum, I took her to the park, and it was so, I remember going there as a child on, you know, the trips for kindergarten and elementary school, and I didn't realize how much that would impact me as an adult. It was just fun for me. And on the island, there aren't so many activities to do for children. This trip just really made me how can I say, like, I definitely am going to maintain a bi-coastal lifestyle, because I don't want to take away any options from my children. Like my parents, they brought us to Roatan every year as children, and that's how we were exposed to island life. But we were born and raised in New York. But because we were exposed to both when we were adults, we made the decision, well, we had the option to come and live down here. So for those of you who have children, I know that a lot of us as adults, like if it was just my husband and I would probably just go back to New York once every 2 years or something, because our life is here. But in addition to the fact that, to be honest, I also miss activities that don't have anything to do with diving or drinking or partying. I really do miss going to museums and seminars. That's my thing, you know. I'm a very conscientious person, and for someone like me, there's a limited activities to do on the island. So, but I know a lot of adults who are just fine, and there's nothing wrong with that, just staying here. And so I want my children to have a balance. So I do plan to continue to travel back and forth with them. And when they're older, they can decide what they want to do. Another thing is catching up with so much paperwork, y'all. I've been so focused on like getting my life together here on the island, you know, getting dual citizenship for all the kids and making sure all my paperwork is on point, that I've been very negligent with my paperwork back in the US. And so this is my advice to y'all. If your intention is, like me, to maintain a bi-coastal lifestyle, don't forget to keep up with your paperwork, okay? So keeping a mailing address, your bank accounts open, making sure you have the children's social security cards, the birth certificates, everything in order. Because like I said, at the end of the day, your children will grow up and then they will decide where they want to be. But you want for them, if they decide to go back to the US, for them to be settled. It's cold, you know. I haven't been back in 3 years, and it's been 10 years since I've been living in New York full time. So even though it was a warmer winter, your girl was freezing, okay? And Amira was too. Amira had her little snowsuit on. She was not feeling it. But we still went outside and still have fun. And I love New York. And I feel so blessed to be connected to two wonderful places. The city that never sleeps, and the beautiful rock. I was thinking about moving abroad. Especially if you have children, really determine what is important for you, what is a deal breaker for you, and make sure that at the end of the day, your child, when they become adults, will have options, okay? And keep your paperwork in order. So thank y'all so much for watching. And if you have any questions, you can email me to thencameroatan@gmail.com. Thank y'all for watching. Bye.